What up? What up, everybody? Welcome back. First, you push green live after your big exam, right? Hopefully, everybody killed it. That could, right? We have a couple of those people that unfortunately couldn't hit the submit button. Good morning, Alex. Good morning, Yuri. How are you guys doing? I feel really bad for them, and wrote the whole exam and just couldn't hit submit, right? They made a fix for it this week. Doesn't help you, but they said you can email it now immediately, while you're doing the thing. So, whatever. But we move on and let's get this thing started. You guys don't have to say you guys don't have to do your name. You're just doing it on Google Classroom. Hopefully this works. I don't have my Ethernet cable connected, so let me know if it starts lagging or something, and I'll run that over to my wired connection. This is just going off Wi-Fi. We'll see. It's a lot of Give me 1 second. I'm gonna play this. Give me 1 second. All right. I'm back. Sorry about that. Yeah, cue the elevator music. Sorry about that. That should work better now. All right, let's get it started. Sorry about that. I run a Ethernet cable across the house because streaming this information is a lot on just straight Wi-Fi. So, and yes, Navika, anybody can join. Doesn't matter. Spencer was like, "What are you doing?" He just ran across the house with me, and then he jumped up on the bed in that room, and then came back over here. And he was like, I like the intro too, Danny. I'm just going to keep it on there. Might as well use your music. There's no copyright claim with that. I'm eating some banana bread my wife made. It's so good. I guess I shouldn't do that on camera or video or whatever. But whatever. Hold on. There we go. So, this is going to be the Cold War. Thank you, Danny. That's all I need. Your permission. And some of these PowerPoints are really lengthy. We're not going to go through them all because you don't need to know all this information. I'm going to go through the big stuff, that you really just need to know as a American human, right? So I really didn't want to, I'm not going to change the PowerPoints. I know there's a way to go through and but I'll just click through them, right? And we'll talk about the big events that happen, the big things going forward in history, because there's a lot from 1945. And yeah, it is really cool, Yuri, with Danny playing the music to it. So that's what we're going to do. I think this gain is up a little high here. That's a little bit better, I think. or maybe, there we go. So, yeah, that's what we're going to do from 45 until basically the Obama administration. We'll just go through probably every Tuesday or Thursday. Maybe we'll change it. If you don't watch it, obviously we only got 18 people watching this. So it's not a big deal. You know what I mean? I know there's not going to be 100 and something people tuning in every week, or every time. But, I feel like I should present the information to you. And then if you don't, look at it, then that's up to you. But we would have done this in class before we took the exam. All this would have been on, able to be on the exam. So, and, that's what I get paid to do is get you guys this information. And a lot of the stuff is very important for your life. You know what I mean? It is stuff that impacts, us right now. A lot of these things. So, hopefully it would be something that you would want to learn about. Yeah, right. That's perfect. So let's get started. A couple announcements before we get started. Your grades. I'm gonna try and work on them today and get everything done that I have from you. So I'll put in all the categories. All the grades that I have, and then your grades will just go up from there. Right? So if you did everything that was assigned, you're going to be fine. Your grades are going to go up. You're going to be good to go. Don't worry about it. These lectures, Tuesdays and Thursdays at 9:30. These are voluntary. I just went over all that. Attendance. Yeah, you guys passed stage push. You're good. Good to go. You celebrate. Woohoo! Yeah, right? A lot of work. I know you guys, it's a lot of work to do this class. I can't imagine with all your other classes. It's a lot of work for me to teach it. This isn't one of those classes you can just sit back and, just let it go as it may, and as a teacher you can, how many days did we, can we get a Forza graduation party? Definitely. We can play Forza. Maybe we'll schedule a time. We'll play get on there live. I've played with Logan and a couple other kids from Car Club. So, you know what I mean? There's not a lot of days in this class in which, as a teacher, you can just say, whatever. You guys know that, we did that maybe a couple times throughout the year that I was just the day before Thanksgiving, we did the turkeys and, you know what I mean? But there's not many days where we can just go, we'll just take a knee for today, right? So that's a lot of work to get all that done, especially when you're teaching 6 classes of it. So, it's a great accomplishment that we finished, that we got it done. I know this is not, for some of the people who did not get to finish. They have to take it in June, and I'm going to help them and try and make sure that they're ready to go still. And, but attendance. Listen, I sent out that reminder this morning. Just comment your name on the attendance. I know I'm talking, there's no way the 17 people that are here didn't already do that. And unfortunately, that's just the way it is. But maybe somebody who's watching it later, or if you talk to somebody, if I don't get it by tomorrow, full attendance for everybody, I'm just going to start assigning things. And then, then maybe people will do it because then I'll put in zeros. Right? So I don't know what else to do. All you have to do is write your name and there's no more assignments. Not here, David. The email submission seems so easy to abuse. What do you mean, Andre? Oh, you mean for the... Well, I think what they're doing is they can see if the submit button didn't work for you. And so if the submit doesn't work for you, then they allow you to, but you have to do it basically within a couple minutes of the test exam. Yeah, I'm hoping everybody's just gonna, comment their name. It's not that hard. It's ridiculous. So, oh, sorry, Mitchell. You're going for the big time, so you have all those AP exams, right? Yeah, so that's it for announcements. I don't have anything to tell you from school. Like, they haven't told me, like, when underclassmen will be able to go back and get stuff that you had in your lockers. So, as soon as I find that out, I'll let you know. I mean, I can't go back until, when am I going back? Next Tuesday? I only get 2 hours in my classroom to, like, kind of close it down. Maybe I should live stream that or put it on Instagram. Oh, I'm sure people did. I'm sure people left food. Like, there was no spoiled food in my classroom, but like food that could spoil. But I'm sure there was some people in lockers that were. All right, let's go. Oh, wrong button. Come on. What are you doing? It's frozen. There we go. The A-push cupboard. Oh, yeah. Yeah, those are not going to get finished. Sorry, that's going to take forever. I don't know what I'm going to do with that now. I was thinking I'll make the S all about coronavirus. I don't know. And leave it there forever and then change all the rest of them. But I'm definitely leaving them up until next year. I'm not cleaning that off until next year. And I can start anew, right? I don't know. That doesn't happen much. So what was the Cold War? All right. So basically, 45 to 91. So it means a huge time span that we had this Cold War with Russia. All right. And basically the Cold War is no all-out wars, right? Between, we haven't had an all-out war between, superpowers since World War II. All right. Now we've had proxy wars. We've had wars in which we fight each other through other countries, unfortunately, right? That's how we do it. Both in Afghanistan and what was that? In the 80s. Then we fought Russia and Afghanistan. We have Vietnam. We have Korea, in which we were fighting China and the communist China. So there's multiple instances where we're fighting a proxy war, and then also in Germany in control of East and West Berlin and East and West Germany. Yeah, you guys don't have to comment your names if you don't want to. Doesn't matter. And it's really the United States against Russia, right? I mean, there's Great Britain and France and all that stuff, but and Russia and its allies. I mean, mostly it's just Russia and the country, and then countries in which they control, right? Yes, Vietnam, exactly. So that's what the Cold War is, all right? Absence of great power war. So basically that's what it means by a Cold War, that there's no great powers at war. Because, let's face it, if we get into a war now, between two countries that have nuclear weapons, because nuclear weapons changed everything, right? Hi, Lara. We were just talking about, well, never mind. I don't want to put you on blast. It was because of nuclear weapons, if we have a war between two people, it's a peace, but at the same time, it's a piece of great wars, like big wars between nuclear powers. But because if we go to war with a nuclear power, at some point, somebody's going to get mad, and then it's going to lead to nuclear weapons, right? Somebody's going to start gaining an advantage. I mean, think about if, us and Russia go to war. Say we start winning, right? And it looks like we're going to conquer Russia, and you have nuclear weapons, you're going to use them. It's just, you know what I mean? It's like if you got in a fight, on the street, and you went in to get some person made you mad, and so you wanted to go fight them, behind where do you guys always fight? You fight behind the, well, not you guys, hopefully, but all the students, they always fight behind Whole Foods, right? And those grasses, that's what I heard from everybody. So if somebody goes over there to fight and they have a knife on them, but they don't want to use it, right? But they have it, and it's just on them. And then they start getting beat up, like really bad. I mean, are you going to pull out the knife? Of course you are, because you're getting beat up, right? And it's the same thing. If somebody is getting beat up and you have something in your possession that's going to stop you from losing or getting your country overran, you're going to use it. And so that's the problem. And so that's why both countries know it. Everybody who has nuclear weapons knows that if a war does break out, it's going to be bad. It's going to eventually lead to a nuclear war. And with the amount of nuclear weapons that everybody has, it's boom, boom, Earth is over, right? So nobody wants that. I like my life. I want to continue to live it. And I don't want nuclear weapons to take it away. But this banana bread is so good. Oh, gosh. Oh. If you guys could have it, have a taste. If you like bananas. If you don't like bananas, you won't like it. So this is why we supply other countries with weapons to fight other countries that are being supplied by the other side, right? So you can say that you're not fighting the war, because then you can't lose face. You can say, oh, well, we lost the war, right? Or things like that. So you're fighting a war through another country. And that's what happens, okay? And basically it was capitalistic versus communism. Developed an allergy to bananas. Oh, that sucks. So a lot of these, you guys probably, especially if you were an ACE US or ACE International last year, you're going to have Karl Marx and the Communist Manifesto. This was written during the Industrial Revolution, but it's still being used. That's what it's for, because Karl Marx was anti-capitalistic, because it brings out the worst in people, because people are fighting for these goods and trying to take advantage of each other. And it's true, you know what I mean? Capitalism does not lead itself to great empathy for others, right? It's more just everybody for themselves. And Lenin started leading that Russian Revolution. So basically the Cold War is communism versus capitalism. And so we had communists here in America. And if you were communist in America, right, you could have some real problems in society. Oh, it's sunny outside. Oh, kind of sunny. Sorry, I get off topic here very easily right now. And I just noticed, I looked outside and I was like, oh man, it's pretty. And this is the contest, right? So it's capitalistic versus communism. And that's the big thing, is capitalism is private property, where communism is communal property. And communism, on the very base level, okay, is a perfect thing. But people aren't perfect, so it's not. You know what I mean? Like, communism says everybody's going to share. Everybody doesn't share, so it doesn't work, right? It's like, it would be like saying we don't need locks on things because, think how much money would be saved in just the society if you didn't have to lock anything up, right? Think how much money is spent on security, on locks, and, just at school. Like, just to lock every single door, it's probably $100,000 in locks just for the school. Think of how many school books we could buy if we didn't have to lock everything up. Think how much money is spent on, securing the school with police officers, with all these things. But it's going to happen, so you have to do it. So it's like communism. That's why, communism says, everybody's going to share. Well, everybody doesn't share. So that's the problem with it. You know what I mean? Like, pure capitalism, throws some people by the wayside too. So there's negatives to all of it. But that's what Cold War was. It was capitalism versus communism, okay? So the zero sum, and I know you guys have heard that before. So if they can get an ally, another country, to go with, the USA, then that takes away somebody for Russia. Okay? So, and that's what this game is from 45 to 91. Right? That's a long time to play this game. I mean, and this is when we were spending just crazy amounts of money on espionage. Now it led to, innovation is bred by necessity, right? Like we needed to spy on Russia, so we made the SR-71 Blackbird, which is not arguably, it is the coolest plane of all time. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you gotta look it up. SR-71 Blackbird, fastest plane of all time, and just really, really cool. Yvonne saw one a couple weeks ago, last week or week before. Sent me a picture of it. I was like, oh, I've never seen one in person. I really want to. So the contest was over economies, all right? And if you could expand your reach, your global reach around the world, then you could deny your enemy, quote unquote enemy, access to those things. So there is this global fight for resources to make your economy more outreaching. And this is when our military just keeps going. This is when we develop nuclear weapons and, why we have, submarines that can blow up the world 8 times. And we have 11 of those submarines, ridiculous stuff like this. So, communism versus capitalism boiled down to that, okay? It boils down to what we have versus what you have. It's really, I don't want to say childish, but it's almost like how you get with, like, if you have a brother or sister, right? It's like, you would rather them, like, you would rather not get candy than have them get candy, right? You'd rather nobody get candy than allow them to have it, right? Like, say if your parents were bringing home, you know what I mean? Things like that. Just very childish things but it's between two huge countries and hundreds of millions of people. Almost billions of people are involved in this thing, right? It is billions of people. What am I talking about? So it's very childish game between two countries over an ideology. That's what it boils down to. All right. And so they take over Eastern Europe. Russia does. And that's when they split Germany in half into East and West Germany. Really, Germany is split between Russia and the other allies, right? But when it boils down to, it becomes communist and capitalist. All right. So then you have an East and West Germany. Then you have an East and West Berlin. The problem is, I don't know if I have it on this thing. I Berlin is in East Germany, which is controlled by the Soviet Union. I don't know if it's on this one. I can't remember. I kind of went back. All right. So, what's up, bub? Can't sleep? Can't sleep? Nope. You were sleeping on the thing on Friday. That was funny. We were on Palm Beach County School Board Instagram, right? Or Twitter. You were on Twitter, buddy. I was sleeping. I know, not at first, though. And this was, we started it by overreacting to Stalin. We isolated the USSR from everybody else. And so they react to it, all right? I forgot I went back a little bit farther. All right, so if we go all the way back, you have Lenin has a revolution, and that's what leads to your Red Scare in the 17 to 19, right? And we really don't recognize them until the 1930s. That's when we have that Red Scare. We've already talked about that. So it really showed like that we were not, or that we were hostile to anything communist. Okay. So here you go. Civilization, Bolshevism, chaos, the red. Let's go to the bottom first. Right. So this is, showing what everybody thought about the Red Scare in 1919. Yeah, there you go. Foreign radicals are going to stop American industry that's chugging along, trying to get it done. And so I'm not going to go through all of these. We talked about these during our World War II stuff. Yeah, there you go. There's Stalin and Hitler together. But then Hitler invades. Shouldn't have done that. There's the three of them. I see you. What do you want? He's like, I want you to play with me. Stop talking to that blue thing. All right. Let's keep going. World War II ends. Okay. Truman becomes president, right? It ends in Europe, and then, we have the bomb. Ends in Japan. So, Germany is occupied and divided. So is Korea. So is Iran. All right. China and Greece are in civil war. And so everybody has to pick a side of what they're going to do. Where they're going to, where they're going to align themselves with either America or Russia. It's going to be one or the other. Okay. So, you have, this right here, this first thing is a big part of why they dropped it. Okay. Like Japan I don't know. There's so many different things to that because, when we talked about dropping of the bomb, if we didn't, maybe we would have had a full-scale mainland invasion of Japan, which would have cost hundreds and hundreds of thousands of lives. But then you could say, but if you just blockaded them long enough, they would have given up. But would they? We dropped the first one, killed 100,000 people in less than a second, and they didn't give up, right? So you got to think about it that way. Like, they dropped one bomb, and we killed 100,000 people, and they were like, let's keep going. Let's keep fighting, right? Is that somebody who's going to give up because, they don't have enough wheat and oil because we're blockading them? No. You know what I mean? But at the same time, did he do it because of this? As a warning to Stalin, who is in power in Russia, because they know this is going to be the fight for Europe once Japan's done. And he's like, Stalin, you better look out. We have nuclear weapons, right? And yeah, and so that's a funny thing. He didn't even act like it existed publicly, right? And that was a big thing, was atomic diplomacy. It was like, just, because you have atomic bombs, you can get things done. You can tell other countries what to do, things like that. And he's going to get it, because he can't not have it, right? And think that he's going to be on the world stage. And America's not going to share the information with them, so they're like, we got to get it done. We got to figure it out. And so, hold on. We don't need this one. So here you go. All right. So this one is important, okay? You have, this is USSR. You can see territory gained by USSR in 1945. So they gained all of this territory here. These are all under communist control. But Yugoslavia was a little bit different. All right. And they are independent, but they are still communist. But they're not being controlled by USSR. Okay. So that's a distinction. And then we're going to get to, you can see here, East Germany and West Germany. And the reason why East Germany is so much smaller than West Germany is because West Germany was divided between England, France, and the United States. Okay? And East Germany is just Russia. All right? And so this is what we call the Iron Curtain. So this is the area that divided, the United States and its allies from Russia. I know Yugoslavia is on the other side of it, but that's because it's independent. Okay? And the big thing here was Germany. What they were going to do with Germany, what was going to happen, and how they were going to get around this question of how much freedom, how much autonomy that Germany would have, and what they would do with it. Okay, so that's why you have West Germany and East Germany. All right. So here you go. So I think this one's kind of hard to read. So you can see the United States, France, Great Britain. All right. Let's see, I thought I had a better one. Here we go. This one's better. Okay. Great Britain, France, United States, and Berlin. See, Berlin is inside of East Germany, and that's the capital. That's the, where everything's happening. So what do they do with Berlin? Look at this. So this is like, if you pull this out, so this is going to be France, Great Britain, the United States. And then you're going to have this line. That's where the Berlin Wall is. But the problem is this area here is within East Germany. Okay. I know this is a lot, so that's why I'm not going through all of this. We would do this in class, obviously. And that was a lesson of World War II. That was a big one that we kind of took out of no appeasement, right? Let's see. So, I mean, they're dividing further and further. They're being, it's going to be this fight between, basically, it's just going to be between the Allies and Russia. Those are going to be the two sides. It's capitalist versus communist, okay? That's the entire thing. There's the Iron Curtain. Everybody's trying to lift it up. USA, France, United Nations, finally. I hate when that happens. So, yeah, trying to get it across is going to be very, very hard. But what's really crazy is some of the pictures when you would go from East to West Germany and how backwards East Germany was in comparison to West Germany. All right. And no, don't worry about this one. So communism across the United States is going to reach a fever pitch during the 1950s, right? It's going to be one of those things where you guys weren't really alive. I mean, some of you were alive during this, but after 9/11, some of the things, the anti-Islamic protests, the anti-Islamic sentiment around the country was at an all-time high because of what happened in 9/11. And it had nothing to do with, 99% of all of, 99.99, whatever, the Muslims. But if you were communist during this time period, right, and there was a lot of people that were, but it's just an ideology. It doesn't mean that you're going to be a spy, and it doesn't mean that you're going to try and, overthrow the U.S. government. It just means that you believe in a different type of government than what we have, which is, what our First Amendment says. You're allowed to believe whatever you want to believe. And we want to prevent the expansion of communism at all costs, right? That's why we go to war. And here you go. Who's next to be liberated from freedom? It's a pretty good political cartoon. And this is some of the propaganda that's being passed around the United States and around the world. Yeah, it's a funny drawing. And hold on. No. Okay. Let's go back one. Okay. So this is this is when we really start reaching out with our military into all these places around the world. All right, into bases, into different places that we can be the world's police. Right. We have bases all over the world in multiple countries. Nobody has a base here. Right. No other country has a base in the United States, and but we have bases everywhere. So this happened during the Cold War. This was us spreading out to try and curb the spread of communism at all costs. No matter what happens, we have to stop communism from spreading. Oh, and the full sunshine out there right now. What? That's good. That's nice. And we're not going to go through all this today. Okay, so Marshall Plan, the Truman Doctrine. And the Truman Doctrine is really just to protect any capitalistic country that wants our protection. Okay. All right. Yeah. We're going to stop here today. Yeah, we're going to stop here. That's 40 minutes. That's what I'm going to try and keep them to, around 40 minutes. So it's short. So if you do want to watch it, you can. So we'll pick up and we'll finish up Cold War on Thursday. Right? So thanks to the 14 people who stuck around. Right? A lot different than, I think on Friday, that first one we had is my number one video. I think it was like 500 views or something like that on that one video on Friday. That was kind of funny. And then afterwards, a lot of people tuning in and stuff. But obviously I know that this isn't going to be like a big, huge, a lot of people are going to tune into this. It's voluntary. But as you go through, we're going to have some cool stuff that we're going to go through. We're going to go through the civil rights movement. You should be wanting to see what went on there. As well as, a lot of the other things that happened between 45 and the Obama administration. I mean, that's a lot of modern history. You're welcome, Allison. And I really just want you guys to know this because it's going to make you a better person knowing your history. I mean, that's the saying, right? Those who don't know history are doomed to repeat it. And we can see that a lot when people make the same mistakes as others did before them because they didn't study history and they can't see that, oh, maybe we shouldn't do that because it didn't work before. It hasn't worked a bunch of times since. So maybe we should try something different. But, that's what we're here for. So you guys have a great day. Thank you for tuning in. And remember, if you have any questions about anything, just give me a holler. Give me a holler, y'all. And I'll see if I can get the answers for you. So, yeah. Take advantage of the sunshine. I think it's supposed to rain for the next couple days. So, we'll see you. Bye, Jackie. Bye, Danny. See you, Yuri. Bye, Rachel.